See if I can get a hold of Amy Moore.
Oh.
And I'm not gonna get done this on this. Just get the 3.9 call to add to 3.0. And the second ordinance and discuss it in the workshop.
Yeah,
Discuss it more.
yeah. I'm good. We got, we're having a game this year, so we got time. It's not that time. So strapped to this anymore.
Do what now? Chris wants to know how we can get out here before 10.
We'll do it. We'll have him out.
Before 10.
What is that? Surely we get through this resolution, this agenda before that.
Obviously.
Is he going out here before 7?
Probably not, yeah.
Maybe about 4 o'clock.
We could move it.
Chris, I will not make it till 10. I'll be asleep.
Yeah, I'll keep that time.
Bumper will be here by himself.
I'll be at the barber shop doing the floor.
We'll have to have food and everything by that time. Right for dinner.
Cater.
Pizza City.
I didn't see a bunch of coffee.
Yeah.
Benny's ready. Yes, man, got up early. I've been up since 5. I cannot sleep last night. I don't know why, but
All right, it's 6:30. I'd like to call the Loudon City Council meeting for May 23rd to order. And our special guest tonight is the Reverend Amy Morehouse from the Episcopal Church of the Resurrection. Thank you, Amy, for your service to our community. And then also we're going to lead our Pledge of Allegiance. My good friend and buddy, Benny Mott. He'll be leading us in our Pledge of Allegiance, the son of Matthew and Shannon Mott, who own Loudon Funeral Home here in Loudon, and we appreciate the work you all do for our community as well. His little brother Jet's outside, so he's part of the family too, but he's been out there. So I'm going to ask everyone to stand, and Ms. Morehouse will lead us in the prayer, and then Benny will lead us in the pledge. Go ahead, Ms. Morehouse.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we lift up prayers tonight for all the residents of Loudon, for all of us who you have called to be neighbors, one with the other. I lift up prayers for the mayor, the city councilors, for all the city's employees, and all those called to serve the public good. We continue to remember and lift in prayer the family and friends of Councilman Johnny James. We pray for all the first responders and those who put themselves in harm's way for the sake of others. Be with all our high school and college graduates this month, and all the teachers and administrators and the staff who helped them along the way. Guide the city council tonight, Lord, and give them hope and wisdom as they look to the issues before them. God of love and hope and justice, give us ears to listen and hearts to serve. Help us to love our neighbors as ourselves. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Attention to the pledge.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Benny, if you can join me up here. This is mom and dad moment right here, okay? This is for you, okay? You got a little pin for your shirt, and this for your pocket. This is your gold coin, and with this, your mom, I'll give this to your mom. She'll want to frame that, okay? So we can have a picture made, okay? All right, thanks, Ben. When you see him on the PGA course, remember you see him here first. That's a future golfer right there. Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Mayor Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Dixon,
here,
Councilmember Bivens. Here. Councilmember Webster.
Here.
All right, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the monthly meeting of the Loudon City Council. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. Tennessee law gives every Tennessean the right to attend city council meetings and to see how their government operates. We appreciate that each one of you have taken time out of your own personal schedule to see how your city government works. It's my intention as your chair to create an environment where everyone sees seen, heard, respected, and valued. You should have a copy of tonight's agenda. If you do not have a copy, you can pick one up on the table at the back of the room. This agenda is your guide to the topics we'll be discussing tonight. In order to conduct efficient business-like meetings, we've adopted specific rules to follow. Primarily, these rules are established to keep the meeting moving, to provide for common courtesy, and to make sure that all points of interest are heard and considered. In just a few minutes, we'll address an item on the agenda entitled Citizens Input, where anyone who has signed in to speak to council is encouraged to do so. We ask that you wait till you've been recognized before you speak to council. After being recognized, approach the podium and follow 3 simple rules. State your name for the records, address all your questions and concerns to the chair, and avoid the profanity and improper language or inappropriate conduct. Once the citizens input portion is completed, we'll continue with the rest of the agenda. You're free to stay and watch the rest of the meeting and participate in the meeting, but public comments will be limited. We ask that everyone remember we're doing the people's business here tonight, and it's a very important responsibility for all of us, and you can help us accomplish this by adhering to the rules we've established for our meetings. Again, welcome to the Loudon City Council meeting. We're glad you're here. Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. We'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda unless there's any changes or recommendations.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion by Vice Mayor Dixon. Have a second?
Second.
Do we have a second to adopt the agenda? Any questions?
I'll be
Oh,
abstaining
okay.
just because I was not here for that meeting.
Okay, all right. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Okay, this, citizens input. Did anyone sign in? Okay. All right, next item is approval of the minutes. We have 2 to approve a regular meeting for April 25th, 2022.
Mayor Harris, I was not at that meeting, but I have reviewed the minutes and recommend that they be adopted.
Okay. I need a motion for,
I'll make a motion.
do I have a motion by Dixon? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Bivens. Motion second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next approval of minutes for the special call meeting for May 17th, 2022.
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
Okay, we have a motion by Dixon. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Webster. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is fuel bids. The low bid for the purchase of fuel on May 16th was received from Valley Oil Company for the projected amount of $35,845. Unleaded gasoline was at $4.17. That's probably the highest it's been in a long time. $4.17, and low sulfur diesel was $4.88. What's the pleasure of council for the fuel bid?
I'll make a motion, we accept the bids.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the fuel bid to Valley Oil Company. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is ordinance, on second reading, amending the 2021-2022 fiscal year budget. This budget amendment covers the necessary pool upgrades for the season as approved at the March 14th special call meeting that we just approved those.
I'll make,
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Ms. Bivens,
I second.
second by Webster. Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bivens,
Aye.
Councilmember Webster.
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon,
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is ordinance on first reading. Is the amending the zoning map of the city of Loudon, Tennessee pursuant to 13-7-203, 13-7-204 of the TCA to rezone property located on Grove Street, tax map 041B, Group E, parcel 007, approximately 0.16 of an acre, from C2 Highway Business District to P1 Professional and Civic District.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
have a motion and a second. Any questions? This is coming as a recommendation from the planning commission. Okay, no question? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Vivens.
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember Webster.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is amending the 2021-2022 fiscal year budget. So, Manager Ross,
Yeah, it's
Pass
not
it
to
on.
confuse anyone, there's two budget amendments on this agenda. One is a second reading, and this is a first reading, so this one will be followed up next month. This is a housekeeping budget amendment towards the end of the year. Our Melissa Huskin has done a tremendous job putting this together. She adopted a format that was formerly used by Stephanie Pacomin, and that's the 5-column tabular format that you see there. And just if there was a dollar amount changed, and it's reflected in this format. It's, again, if the number's different than what it was projected in your annual budget passed last year, it's shown on this table.
and this is just something that we do this time every year, the housekeeping item. You see the, thank you, Melissa, for the list, and it's easy to understand. So,
I make a motion.
okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Bivens,
A second.
have a second by Vice Mayor Dixon. Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Vivens.
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember Webster.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is an ordinance of the City of Loudon amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023. Manager Ross.
They're all ordinances, so two budget amendments and a new budget ordinance for next fiscal year. So the best way we explain that to the public is to highlight what's different about this year compared to last year. We'll note that there is an additional firefighter in this year's budget. It does reestablish the recorder position, which used to be a shared finance decision with the utility. This breaks it out separately. It establishes a public safety director. There is a cost of living adjustment that's recommended at 3% to salaries and a 3% increase to the health fund. And, you know, we had much discussion about this at the workshop, and that there's capital expenditures. There's $150,000 included in that for the design of the community center. And I just want to refer also to an item later on down the agenda, and that's a resolution of intent to go ahead and seek to borrow funds for that project. But that's on down the list.
Yes, that's in our resolution section. We'll see that come up.
On this ordinance here, on the COLA 3%, we want to add it to this one, but for the next workshop, I want to add a 2.9% COLA on top of the 3% pay raise. And for it to reflect on the second reading of this ordinance.
So what we would probably need you to do there, Melissa and Ty, is to present us two proposals, one with the 3% in there and one with the 5.9. And then council can discuss it at the workshop in June. This is just on first reading, so nothing's finalized here.
That's not a difficult calculation. We can run that for you, have it ready for the workshop.
So we'll discuss it at the June meeting in detail at the workshop, and then we'll vote on it, whichever direction council wants to go with that, okay? All right, any questions you see what's different in this budget, what the additions are? What's the pleasure of council?
I'll make a motion, we accept.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the ordinance for the adopted annual budget for 2022 and 2023 on first reading. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember Webster.
Aye.
Councilmember Vivens.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
And we'll set these public hearings in just a minute, yeah, after we get the last one here. Next one is setting the tax rate for tax year 2022. Our annual property tax rate's approved, separate vote from the budget, and it supports the budget. So the recommendation is to keep the same tax rate, 1.0993.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember
I'll
Bivens.
second.
Second by Vice Mayor Dixon, to keep the tax rate the same. And with that tax rate, we have a balanced budget, which is what we strive for, so. Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bivens.
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember Webster.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
So as far as public hearings, I guess we could just start at 6:10 and go down 5 minutes till,
Respectively.
yeah, to 6:25.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, next is item on the agenda is resolutions. Acknowledging the contribution of John D. James to the city of Loudon. Hope you all had time to read that. I think it would be good if we, probably if you read that here. So I'm gonna read that here. It says, and the resolution states, whereas John D. James was a lifelong member, resident of the city of Loudon, and whereas John D. James was elected 2 consecutive terms to the city council by the citizens of Loudon, taking office in December 2014. Whereas John D. James served 4 years on the Loudon Utility Board, utilizing his experience and knowledge to improve services provided to ratepayers. And whereas John D. James served on the Courthouse Square Area Grant Ratification Committee, promoting the sustainable growth of downtown Loudon. And whereas John D. James was instrumental in the promotion and fundraising for the refurbishing of the Dunbar Rosenwald School. And whereas the mayor and city council members of the city of Loudon wish to honor the service of John D. James to his community until his untimely death on April 30th, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Loudon, Tennessee as follows. The mayor and city council of the city of Loudon hereby express their sincere gratitude and appreciation for the exemplary service of John D. James to the city of Loudon and the citizens of the Loudon community. As mentioned in his service, John James was a bigger-than-life person. He will be missed for sure. But we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the
Okay,
resolution.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Councilmember Webster. Any questions about that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And as we mentioned last meeting, there will be a candle lit here until his seat is filled. Resolution, the second item is a resolution declaring the intent of the city of Loudon, Tennessee to pursue the construction of a community center to reimburse itself for certain expenditures of the project with the proceeds of general obligation bonds, notes, or other debt obligations to be issued by the city. Senator Rosso.
Yes, this is the resolution of intent to pursue the funding of the community center. It projects the issuance of a $5 million bond to supplement approximately $1.6 million, which is currently in the recreation sales tax reserve. Given the current supply chain crisis, whether it be concrete, steel, or other material shortages and price spikes, this resolution is drafted with flexibility for the actual dollar amount borrowed to be higher or lower, depending on our needs. For now, we will budget in the 2022-2023 for design costs and later amend the budget. We've been through the budget amendment process numerous times over the past several weeks. This would be another budget amendment with the actual amount to be borrowed based on an architect's complete design estimate.
This gets us a step further than we've ever gotten before. Dr. Guider, do you want to address the council now?
After your vote.
Okay, all right. So you see the proposal, the resolution's drafted to issue a $5 million bond to supplement the 1.6, and it's hard to forecast right now with building costs and things the way they are. So this gets the process going. What's the pleasure of council?
I'll make a motion, we accept.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Gatter?
Mayor Harris, city council members, Manager Ross, Recreation Advisory Commission, and the citizens of Loudon would like to thank you all very much for this resolution. And we can assure you that we will enthusiastically resume our work on this project and are excited about seeing this project to fruition in the near future. So, thank you all very much.
I want to thank you for your patience and work and the whole committee's endurance.
So,
Thank you
committee
very
members that are
much.
here, I think we would all agree, we're thankful for this resolution and encouraged by it and, are ready to press on.
We are too. Let's move forward. Thank you. Thank y'all for being here as well. Next item is resolution authorizing the issuance of the general obligation capital outlay notes of the city of Loudon in one or more series in an aggregate principal amount of not to exceed.
Oh, Mayor,
Yeah.
excuse me, just, we wanted to revisit, if it's the council's pleasure, the proposal from Chuck
Oh,
Grant, the
NBI?
architect.
Okay, yeah, I skipped over that. Okay, authorizing proposal with NBI for the schematic programming of the city of Loudon recreational facility.
Yes,
Mr.
this-
Grant was here at the workshop, so. He's been involved in this about as long as the Recreation Advisory Committee meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, have a
I'll
motion, have a motion and a second. Any questions about what his role's gonna be? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for pointing that out. I had it marked off on two different sheets. Next is the resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation capital outlay notes of the city of Loudon in one or more series in aggregate principal amount of not to exceed 1.5, making provision for the issuance, sale, and payment of said notes, establishing the terms thereof and disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of tax for the payment of principal thereof and interest thereon. That's wrote in King James Version. This is all about paying, I think, correct, Mr. Ross?
Yes, several years ago, with this council, this elected body, we wanted to bite off a significant chunk of paving around the city. We estimated $4 million would go a long way towards meeting those needs. Based on council comments, we've taken that in smaller bite-sized chunks, in the $1.5 million range. We did that last year, that's what we're proposing to do again this year. So these, in many ways, these bonds will mirror each other.
And City Engineer Hogan, he addressed those in the workshop, the projects that's on the list, so.
I'll make a motion.
Are we gonna do that one, huh?
You've been itching to do that.
I'll give it to you.
Okay, motion made by Vice Mayor Dixon,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Bivens. Any questions about what we're doing with this 1.5? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is approving the refurbishing of the downtown parking area. Manager Ross someone has given us a picture of that. This is, I think, a very good use of courthouse square dollars. A lot of people benefit from that parking area right there, right behind Tommy's, across the street from Greer's.
I'll make a motion, we accept that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the refurbishing of the downtown parking area to be taken out of the courthouse square budget. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the next item is authorizing the repair of section of city sidewalks. Manager Ross, I think
This
that's.
is a low-hanging fruit, in terms of addressing some of our TDOT ADA concerns, that we self-reported. Precision concrete cutting will help take care of many of the toe stumpers around town by either shaving them down or ramping up to them for smooth transition from one section of concrete to the other. And just speak to the budget that will have its second reading. There's also $50,000 in next year's budget to address not just these particular issues, but other sidewalk issues around town. That won't cure our sidewalk problem by any means, but it's a step in that direction and will bring us into better ADA compliance.
Well, you see the map that you have listed there, and if you'll remember, I think it's a couple years ago, we had some joggers complaining about the toe stumpers and
I'm sure.
tripping on them and things like that. And, there's several of those around.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve sidewalk
I'll second
repairs. Did you second? Vice Mayor Dixon seconds the motion to authorize precision concrete cutting to make the repairs. Any questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next item is authorizing the removal and replacement of the Highland Avenue Facilities and Maintenance Building roof.
Mayor, this roof was destroyed or totaled during a weather event at the end of March. We promptly filed a claim and we received a settlement. These roof repairs are in the amount of $31,000 and it's totally covered by the amount of our settlement.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do you have a second?
I'll second.
So even though this don't require any money, we have to vote to approve this, okay? That was the only question I had with it, since it's all insurance funded.
Mayor, your settlement goes into the general fund and then you authorize the expenditure of these particular repairs.
Okay,
And it will be a shingle roof this time versus a metal roof
Metal roof.
that it is replacing.
okay, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorizing certain facilities and maintenance department items and equipment to be considered surplus. So Mark, I think you gave us that list at the workshop. Is it changed any?
No, sir.
Okay, so it's still the items we discussed at the workshop. What's the pleasure of council on that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to put those items on gov deals and get what you can get. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Last item on the resolutions is authorizing the award of a service weapon to retired police chief James Webb. Since we've already gave it to him.
He's gonna bring it back.
Yeah. We ain't gonna be an Indian giver.
I'll make a motion.
We did it then because it could not be at this meeting.
Yeah, that's right. That's true, that is true.
You
Okay,
don't see him.
we have a motion by Councilmember Bivens. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Vice Mayor Dixon. This resolution surpluses the firearm for the purposes of the award that he was presented on May the 9th, at the workshop, so. Any questions from council? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are just a couple of appointments to make due to the loss of Councilmember Johnny James. He was on the Courthouse Square Ratification Committee. I will fill that seat until, after the November election. We'll have some other people, I'm sure, or we'll fill that then. And also, Carolyn, his wife, is asked to be replaced on the Visitors Bureau, and Councilmember Bivens is gonna fill that seat on the Visitors Bureau. I think it's the Visitors Bureau, they meet once a month, I guess. Okay. That's the only appointments. There'll be more appointments next month to go through. Okay, our department reports. Director Brown, you have anything to? Okay, Chief Brubaker?
No, sir, Mayor.
All right. As some of you may have gotten complaints about vultures, Tokyo vultures, black vultures. We have got the permit reissued. Chief Brubaker has that. He's had meetings with the sergeants and police officers, so they'll start deprecating the vultures, so. Okay, Melissa, you have anything?
I'd just like to thank everyone for the teamwork on the budget.
Thank you. Engineer Hogan, you have anything?
We'll be getting bids back on Thursday for our summer pit.
Yeah, I saw the bid in the paper. Country Lane is progressing. Thank you for the update you send out, Ty, that helps.
That's-
Pictures and documentation of what we went on, I think that keeps us in the loop, that helps. So, thanks for that feedback.
So Director Harrell has an upcoming event to announce at Loudon Municipal Park.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to expand about this one. I look at Michael Grady and Mike Brubaker and some of these guys, Chief Webb, that have participated in youth sports and had some pretty good events down here. We've had a state tournament for Dixie Youth and we've had people to visit that park from all over, but probably one of the best kept secrets is the Smoky Mountain Senior Classic. It started in Maryville. It's ISSA certified. It started in Maryville and Knoxville. And as the program grew and as that tournament grew, they expanded out. The next park that they chose was Loudon Municipal Park to bring their teams to. That's been 5 years ago. We've had them for the past 5 years. Since then, they have now moved to Athens and Rockwood. We're kind of number 5 on the list, so we kind of get the last teams. Athens and Rockwood passed us because of facilities, teams, restaurants, and things like that. But either way, we'll take what we can get. Last year, it was promoted and I think documented the largest held tournament ever east of the Mississippi. There was 185 teams in this tournament. They play this year from June 3rd through June 12th or 13th. We have the 50-year-old and 53-year-old bracket here. And then as the weather changes this, and sometimes they move in and out, there could possibly be more games here. But they're playing here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then they'll be gone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then they'll come back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the championship game for those 2 age brackets will be Sunday afternoon. I think we're blessed. We're very blessed to be in this community, to have the facility that we have, and to be able to offer the community this type of caliber of tournament going on. It's really super. Mr. Mott come up to me there just a few minutes ago, and I wasn't going to talk about this tonight because it's kind of a personal thing, but there was a service held along with a youth baseball tournament this weekend that had 20 teams in it for a death of a member that was killed in a motorcycle accident. They had a memorial service at the amphitheater, and Jeff Trout worked the event. Both events came off without a hitch. The tournament was happening down here, and the service was happening at the amphitheater. So guys, we're proud. We're very proud for what we have in Loudon, and we should stand proud and tell people about these events. And as Michael Grady and these folks that participate in these youth sports and work hard to make it, they're the ones that make us feel good. So again, I'll have you more information. Jeff's been speaking with some of the businesses about this huge tournament that's coming in, and hopefully we'll get some of the businesses to join in and welcome those folks. One more story on that, since Chief Webb is no longer talking, I want to take his 30 seconds. Ray Maynard, a friend of mine that he was, as most of you remember, when John Deere built their plant here, he was an engineer with John Deere. And since then, he's moved into different areas. And one area, he and his wife are now doing Airbnb locations, a couple of different locations. And he got a new phone, and he's got to show it off. But anyway, part of that, it used to be radio, now listen to it.
That's your alarm.
So anyway, Ray was telling me a couple of weeks ago, and I did not know this, but he got a phone call from a gentleman in San Diego. For me, that's in California. He didn't tell me where it was in. But he said that this gentleman called and he said, listen, we're looking for a place that can hold 18 people. and we understand you have a house or a home that can handle this many folks. He said, we sure do, we have 5 bathrooms, and blah, blah, blah. And he says, now, we do not have internet, we do not have TV. There's no TV anywhere here. Oh, yeah, we're coming to Loudon. He said, well, why are you coming? He said, we play in the Smoky Mountain Senior Classic in Loudon. He said, this is our 3rd year to come, that was last year. This is our 3rd year to come. And he said, well, what else do you do while you're here? And he said, drink a lot of beer. He said, we're gonna stay at your house. He says, we do no other activities. We stay at your house and our spouses come with us and we enjoy it. Ray says, yeah, well, come on. Gave him a price. They sent him a check. 18 members came to his house. 2 days into it, they wanted to know why the TVs weren't there. Ray said, I told you up front, we didn't have TV, we didn't have internet. He says, when you come to East Tennessee, he says, we love one another and we fellowship with each other here. And we don't believe in TVs and the internet. And he said, yeah, but there's this world-class soccer tournament going on, blah, blah, in England. He says, it's okay, you can watch a replay of it when you get back home. Long story longer, those folks left and made reservations again with him this year, requesting no TV, no internet. They just want to come to Loudon. They don't go to Farragut, they don't go to Athens. They come to this beautiful town, play softball, enjoy themselves. And that's something that we don't know. We don't know that these people do that. San Diego, California, 18 people flying in there and play softball down there. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, council member reports. Tammy, you have anything? You have something from solid waste, I guess, don't you?
We'll be discussing, the contract extension amendment, to the contract that has not been voted on as of yet. We're bringing it to all the stakeholders. Took it to county commission at their last, workshop that they held. It'll be here at our next workshop. There is also a highlighted page that tells, all of the changes that are made, what those changes, entail, what they would be if these changes were not made. So gives you a good glimpse as far as what is current in the contract, if we carry on with this contract, or what happens if we do this extension and amend these items.
How many years are left on the current contract?
It will end in 2027.
Okay.
What are they wanting to extend to?
It'll be 2038.
2030?
Those with the amended, with the changes, you'll provide us with a copy of that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually going to send out, I may have already sent them. If I haven't already sent it, I'm gonna send it to Mr. Ross, and you all will receive
Okay.
that in the
So
workshop
we can have that
packet.
ahead of time, okay?
And they're also posted, online under Loudon County Government,
Oh, okay,
under their, documents, and, they should be on there by now.
okay.
I believe she said
Cause
she
it'd be good to
was.
know what, just the changes that, the contract extension.
It's a lot of information, and if you're not going to the meetings, it's a lot to take in. So we kind of summarized it down. Our meetings are anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours long. So they're pretty in-depth. A lot of discussions happen. So we tried to compress that, and show you all of the changes that are being done. We wanted to make sure that every change that was in that contract was noted.
And we're a stakeholder in this interlocal
Absolutely.
agreement. It's us, Leonard City, and Loudon County.
Yeah. It's already went to Loudon County, and we will hold ours, and Lenore City will, hold their meeting as well. Their meetings are held on the same nights that ours are, so I won't be able to attend their meeting, when they have theirs, but there are certain, the commission is going to try to come to each one of those. We had several attend the county commission meeting, and there should be several here, at our next workshop.
Okay, thank you. We'll discuss that on the 13th of June. Vice Mayor Dixon, Planning Commission, you have anything?
Yeah, we had one, that come to Planning Commission. TTMS/US Express, application for site plan. The applicant was Scott Jewell, and it's 700 Corporate Park Drive for approximately 10 acres. That was approved 100% from the Planning Commission.
Okay. Councilmember Webster? Okay. We didn't have any anniversaries in the city, but we did have some in the utilities. Ed Adame, 5 years. Gas, water, and sewer, Everett Beatty, 7 years water. Adam Cook, 8 years electric. Brian Curtis, 28 years electric. And the grandfather was Kent Everett, 40 years in the water. He was recognized with a clock, Father Time. He gave him a clock.
You know,
Yeah, you'd know, I reckon, so. Manager Ross, you have anything else we need to discuss?
Thanks for your input. We'll, provide you more information for your workshop and second reading of these ordinances.
Okay, Megan, you have everything you need?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, all
I
right,
have,
Chris.
some
Oh,
birthdays.
birthdays, okay, sorry.
That's all right. I got, administration of Stephanie Lawhon, May the 22nd. Fire Department Anastasia Fisher, May the 28th. Josh Kerr, May the 12th. Noah Kyle, May the 13th. James Russell, May the 7th. Public Works, Greg Dolly, May the 1st. Electric Department, Adam Cook, May the 25th. Robert Henry, 2nd, May the 10th. Water Department, Cody Manus, May 22nd. Gas Department, John Davis, May the 11th. Chad Johnson, May the 16th. Utility Board Member, Ernest Eugene Farmer, May the 23rd. And Civil Service Board Member, Tommy Nicholson, May the 29th.
Okay, several birthdays.
Yeah.
Any other public comment? Okay, no objections, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Y'all did really good.
Yeah, it's not 10. No,
We almost made the 7 o'clock. How about that?
Mark Harris.
We didn't have to.
I cost us a few minutes of having to go back.
Okay, just got it. Yes.
Well, I had